All right, guys, a new patch just went live, and apparently the FFAR and the AUG both got nerfed. So we're going to go over the patch notes, and then we're going to hop into Plunder and test out the FFAR and AUG a little bit and see if they actually nerfed them. So starting at the top here, they apparently fixed the camo challenges for the R1 Shadow Hunter, that new crossbow, which apparently was broken before. That's not something I was even aware of. I've never even tried getting this weapon before. And then here we go. Cold War Tactical Rifle Charlie, which is the AUG. They increased the recoil strength. So this is the second time they're increasing recoil with the AUG. So hopefully this time it actually does something. And then they also say that burst weapons ride a fine line between inefficient and oppressive. The intent of this change is to maintain the weapon's identity of being a powerhouse while making it a bit more difficult to wield. Right now, we feel it is too easy to stay on target given how lethal it is. We will continue to monitor the performance of the Tactical Rifle Charlie and make additional changes if necessary. And this kind of makes sense because they don't want to completely nerf it to the ground so it's completely not viable at all, kind of like how the FAMAS is. That gun is completely trash, and if they completely nerf it to the ground, it's gonna end up like the FAMAS, and they don't want that, and that's understandable. But then again, this gun is just way too broken and definitely needs some nerfs. So hopefully increasing the recoil helps a little bit, but I feel like they're gonna need to nerf it again. I think they're gonna have to nerf the damage or something. And then going down to the FFAR here, we got ADS speed being decreased again. If you guys don't know, there was a ghost nerf where the ADS speed on the FFAR actually got decreased in the last update. So this is really good because it's gonna make it harder to use as an SMG, but we'll see if this nerf actually does a whole lot once we actually get into a game here. And then they say the FFAR is a jack of all trades. It has damage profile and range of an AR as well as the fire rate of an SMG. The FFAR's wholesale efficiency has it edging out SMGs at ranges we're not satisfied with. Ideally, the FFAR fulfills the role of a mid-range dominator while falling prey to weapons that excel in short-range engagements. We are bringing the FFAR a bit more in line with what you might expect from an AR damage and range at the cost of handling, which that makes sense. I totally get it because the FFAR, it's an AR. It should be doing FAR things at like a medium range. It shouldn't be better than the MAC-10s and the MP5s. It makes no sense. So hopefully the ADS speed being decreased helps, but then again, it might need a damage nerf still. I'm kind of getting a feeling that they nerfed them a little bit, but they're still going to be the best guns in the game. Now down to attachments, it says rear grip attachments that showed ADS speed pro should now properly increase ADS speed. I thought this was fixed in the last patch, but apparently not. So I do know after the last patch that the serpent wrap started working again. It actually would give you the ADS speed that it said, but before that it wasn't working. But apparently the other rear grips that showed ADS speed were not working still. They also fixed a bug with the Groza where the 16.5-inch CMV mil-spec barrel would bypass damage fall-off range. So that's really good because that was broken. And that's the reason a lot of people were actually using the Groza. So now this just kind of makes the Groza useless compared to the FFAR. I think that's the only reason a lot of people would use the Groza over the FFAR anyway. Then they fixed a bug with the Ember sighting point where the XM4 and AK-47 had their ADS speed increased rather than decreased. Fixed a bug with the Salvo Fast Mag where the FFAR and M16 were not having their ADS speed decreased, so that's good. I thought again that was fixed in the last patch, but apparently not, unless they're just telling us about it now. Then the Pellington 703 wrap suppressor effect should now be properly represented in the stat bar. Okay, so those are the patch notes. Now I want to hop into a game and actually test out the FFAR and AUG and see if it really feels different. All right, so I'm just gonna land somewhere low-key and just run around and get a little feel for the gun, see how they feel, see if the nerf really did anything, and let's pray they did. One thing I should have mentioned probably when we were going over the patch notes is that the strike team barrel actually still gives the most bullet velocity, and they didn't mention anything in the patch notes about that. So that is something they really need to fix, because that is one of the biggest reasons as to why the AUG is still the dominant AR. And I mean, there's just so many attachments that don't do what they say, and they really just need to fix this stuff. Okay, so the class I'm using for the FFAR right here is the same class that I had in yesterday's video, in the class setup video, with the serpent wrap, which would actually increase ADS speed, and it feels a tiny bit slower when I'm ADSing, not a whole lot slower, so I really don't think anyone's gonna be choosing like a MAC-10 or an MP5 over the FFAR still, because it doesn't feel a whole lot different here in terms of ADS speed. I mean, you are gonna have to be using the serpent wrap and a non-fast mag, so you're gonna have to use just the normal 50 round fast mag, but no, the FFAR still feels like it's gonna be the best SMG. And then for the AUG, let's test the recoil here. So let's just aim at this little thing and just spray it, and it does feel like there's a little more recoil actually. It actually does. So I'm gonna try controlling it here. So when I'm controlling it, definitely, you know, there's a good amount of recoil, but if I don't control it, this is what happens. It just keeps going up and up and up. But is it nerfed enough to make the AUG a non-meta gun now and change the meta? No, I don't think so. I think if you're a good player, you're still gonna be dominating with this setup. So I think these guns are gonna need to be nerfed again, which is really unfortunate, but I'm sure it's gonna happen soon, and that's just kind of disappointing, to be honest. But hey, at least they're nerfed a little bit, making the guns a little harder to use, I guess. So there is that. But if you guys did enjoy this video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Here's the web. Peace.